we think that I need on my screen currently. You can staple your serve together, you can sticky tape it, you can PVA in some cases, whatever's cheapest I suppose, isn't it? Room is mostly done. I'll show it off in a minute. Are you kidding me? Noob just tried to call me. Oh, Aspire's already donated money before I've started this stream. Aspire, creator of my fleet. Right, then 1 second. 1 second. We're gonna... No. This literally brought up the desktop by accident. My fleet. Space. Okay. Here we go, Aspire. You can have a plug. Load, yeah. My fleet.space, cool little app that allows you to visualize your fleet, and you even got little paintings on it now as well, so you can have your fleet colors on it. It's very much used at the moment by a lot of people, but check that out. I will be doing a video in the future. Aspire, as I said, I'll give it shout outs and occasionally point to it in videos when I get around to it. So it'll be probably with another tools video or something. It'll be looking at cool the things that can aid your Star Citizen stuff externally, like that. But yeah, hello, I love you, Aspire. Far Out. You want me to go check out Far Out? Yes. Okay. Far Out. What is this? Far Out game. Steam-powered adventure game. Far Out. Single player. Okay. Buy it now, which is good. It's not early access. Weird. Okay, and I'll check them out. I'll check out Far Out. Can't stick around, unfortunately. That's alright, mate. You take care, Spy. But you take care. Appreciate the support. Hello from Manchester County. Hello, hello. I dislike that FAP. You've been using it wrong. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I think Aspire's taking critical feedback on it, which is good. That's a good way that it'll progress and change. So I think feel free to give him that critical sort of like feedback. Which way? What? I've got an extra screen set up now, which is really useful. But I didn't know where I had to orientate my head. I should do that. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. You see me looking off to the opposite side of the screen now, but fuck it, we can sort it around later. Hello, hello, hello. So today, obviously we'll answer questions and talk about Star Citizen in general. People can pose any questions they want, whether about Star Citizen on my channel or me or whatever. I am going to do an occasional piece on charity or mental health. I want to do something in the not too distant future about my struggle that I previously had with anxiety and depression. I mean, I'm still not over it or anything, but I can manage it a million times better than I previously could. And I was playing Rust again, actually yesterday, and thinking this game helped me get through my severe like PTSD, anxiety, and depression when I had it really bad. It really helped me. There's lots of reasons for that, but I want to talk about them. I will in the future properly. Probably something like next month or something. I have to really think about it, because when addressing mental health or that sort of stuff, a lot of people can be quite sensitive about it. And when I talk about it, I'm no expert, so I worry about people saying, well, if it worked for him, it could work for me, but everyone's different. I need to be very careful about what I say so that people don't get the wrong sort of like advice. Thanks for all the content updates. Kazadon, thank you very much for the Super Chat donation. That's very much appreciated. All the Super Chat donations, all of the donations, probably for the next few months will go into CitizenCon. Because I plan to get to CitizenCon this year. I looked at flights to Austin and staying there. It's expensive, a lot more expensive than I expected. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. To get it done properly and to get a return flight and stuff. Now, I will subsidise a bit of that with the Patreon monies, because Patrons are giving me a good amount of money each month, like a sizable amount. So that is definitely partly subsidised. So thank you very much for that. It's very, very, very much appreciated. My room is almost done. What's the best way of showing you? Probably best taking the camera off. So the walls are fully plastered and painted. I've gone for a cloudburst grey. Ceiling is white. The door is black. Oh, I don't have a duvet at the moment because it crashed bang. Dark grey woodwork and a very, very light grey / beige walls. A lot of canvases. There, I'm going to show you. So, I'm getting the Starfarers captain's bed sheets as well. But hanging up Star Citizen Flare. You can hear me. Star Citizen Flare on the wall. So that's Tears of Fire, which I had printed onto canvas. Distance. There's some people's art that I found on DeviantArt many years ago. Join the Fight, I think it was called. One of my favourite ones, which is signed by CitizenCon 2015, which Captain Flint actually looked after for me when I was down. I actually had it sent to him. This is signed by Ortwin, Chris, Aaron, Sandy, a load of the people there. One of my treasures. And then really hard to store in these canvases. Then I got loads of like screenshots So a load of screenshots and artistic in-game things. We got that like a up in Arc Corps with events and stuff. One of the now non-existent data pads. They'll probably reappear in the game. I think they were in Squadron 42 actually, weren't they? They're no longer in Thingamajig, where they were before. You know what I mean? I got one from Kasaba out there. I liked these because they look like they're taken with an actual camera, like a proper photographer would take. I'll probably have some more. Oh yeah, and from that I found my open this up as well. This was from CitizenCon 2015. This is actually Cage Geek looked after this for me for a very long period of time, assuming that is what I think it is. Signed as well. It is signed by Sandy and people. This is one of the exclusive-ish posters we had. I need to. I'll have that mounted on the wall as well. I think get a correct size frame for it and flatten it out properly. It's been rolled up for 2.5 years or something. But that's the room. Yeah. Thanks. The acoustic foam over there. So the room's been partly soundproofed. I need to do the seals on the doors, seals on the windows, and then get the acoustic foam up in certain places to help the sound quality. And then there's some mats and rugs that are going down as well to help with that. But that should give me better sound quality in the room in general. Now, from what you've been hearing recently on my videos and streams, this should be a lot better already. But there's still a lot more improvement which I'll get done today and tomorrow. The light shades need to go up and replacing the light switch. There's lots of other little bits to be done in the room still. But yeah, thank you very much for that, guys. Very much appreciated. Like, it is, I say, a dream come true. It's a very middle class dream come true, actually having a nice looking office space that's not full of wank. That's not exactly what I wanted to say, but you know what I mean. So it was a bit shitty before my room. So thank you. Bored, where can I find a list of ships that will sell with extra ships, i.e. rovers and snubs? There is no list specifically for that, unless someone makes one. You'll see once you look at the actual base ship if it's got one. So the Constellation Aquila's got one, the Carrack's got one, the Andromeda's got one, the 890 Jump. There's quite a few that have little snubs, isn't there? I see what you mean. 600i, Explorer. There's a few. Boop. I can see that a bit better now. Me, I love bows in games. I've realised how much I enjoy them. I'm actually thinking about playing, starting from tomorrow, Metal Gear Survive. I quite enjoyed the beta. I like the idea of the game. I very much enjoy looting. I enjoy occasional stealth, especially when it's not too hard to do. And it didn't seem too hard in the game, just required a little bit of extra effort. I like tower defenses. I like base building. It's got a lot of itches that it scratches for me. So I'll probably look at doing some content for that, and Zen potentially playing with me. Can someone explain to me why they cannot do the same server thing that Dual Universe is going to do in order to have hundreds of people in one place? Don't know, 100%. We'll talk about server meshing in a minute. I'd say the other tech really isn't proven until it's actually implemented. You might be able to have, like, we'll have to see exactly what Dual Universe do. I'm quite a high level backer on Dual Universe as well, so I'm looking forward to Dual Universe. You didn't receive a YouTube thingamajig that I was live. I apologise. We don't know of a 3.0.2, especially since 3.1 is very close. That is true. I doubt there will be a 3.0.2 now, because we're probably moving into the Evocati phase pretty damn soon for 3.1. Put your best hype, please. Put your best hype hat. What feature looking forward, announced or speculated, are you most excited for? Salvage is getting me pretty excited. Base building. Speculated manufacture, I suppose, is probably the most exciting thing. So tonight I'm going to be posting my list of questions on my Discord that I'm going to be asking Aaron on the 9th of March. That's pretty soon, actually, isn't it? I'm going there. So I've got an office tour up in Winslow on the 9th of March, and the Foundry 42 UK office, and an interview with Aaron, assuming that he's not like going, oh no, I'm too busy today. Hopefully that won't happen. So we'll ask lots of questions, and I had a question list. If anyone's got any last few questions they want to try and get into Aaron, please drop it in my Discord, questions for board thread. I'll have one quick last look at that before I go anyway, just to go, oh, that's a really good question. I'll see if I can ask that snickily. I've got to send the questions list into them. I sort of like plan to ask so they can.
I'm going to buy so many spaceships.
I've never gotten to attend the unboxing of a room before. It is indeed a lot better already. Mate, welcome home. Love your face.
JP's Eyes, thank you very much for the donation. You always give so much. You cray. Thank you. Yes, it is. Oh, it's nice in here, like genuinely nice. I'm a little bit in an odd mood. I've got really bad back pain. Really bad. It's reasonably bad. I've taken loads of painkillers for it, so it's very manageable. I'm sure people have significantly worse back pain than I do and don't complain about it, but I'm a little poos. But thank you very much, JP's Eyes. Very, very much appreciated. Legend. Does feel like Ken. You're right. But yeah, I'm most excited about the potential for manufacture. So that's basically adding value to materials after processing, I suppose, is what I'm talking about. So making products that you can sell in the verse, making ammo, weapons, things like that as well, potentially on that. I like the idea of that kind of player manufacture, especially when it comes to like more outlawry areas or fringes where you might not necessarily be able to get equipment or Cryastros or things to come and actually, or Vulcans to come and repair and rearm you. Manufacturing, having a little outpost that can manufacture would be amazing. No, there's no praise station to Chris Roberts. I'm not in the sort of like the faith aspect. I don't like the term faith when applied to certain things. Like, you shouldn't have faith in CIG to complete their project. You should have trust in them. Like, don't just... Faith basically implies that there's no basis for your idea that they're going to complete for your want to complete their project. Like, I very much know, or at least think it's very, very, very highly likely that they will complete a game, and that game will be very good. Hopefully, it'll be fucking amazing, is the idea. And we, the community, are part of that process. We're part of that project. We push for things we want. We shout at them when they do naughty things that they shouldn't do, or we don't like. I think that's great. It's a nice push and pull mechanic. And they're very much held responsible to anything that they do. It's great. I really enjoy that. But you should trust CIG if you want to before backing. But don't have faith. Like, read and yeah, do you know what I mean? Just do the research. Do you think ship-to-ship communication will be SW style, just audio, or Trek style view screens? When it's texture, holograms, view screens, and you maybe glass, that sort of stuff, yeah. Very much player to player, Mobiglass. We've seen that in the Gamescom demo that we're actually watching now in the background. Why doesn't / can't Star Citizen do the same server thing that Juniverse does in order to have hundreds of people? I'm not entirely sure what Universe does, but we can talk a bit about the server meshing, which is one of the reasons the titles is server meshing. So they talked about server meshing coming this year. Thank you very much, Perry Hellion, for the cheer. Woo! Woo! Wait a second, let me do something like this. Like, thank you, Perry Hellion, for the cheer. That's what other streamers do, isn't it? I've got this. I just need to set it up better. But yeah, thanks, appreciate it. So we are very likely now to get server meshing in 3.4 this year. So December of this year, at the end of the year. And what server meshing is the way that CIG and Star Citizen plans to get all or most or a lot, let's say at least a lot of players in the same server instance, in the same shard. And it does this by having lots of different servers which look after different areas. When you quantum travel, or when you get to the border of one of these zones, it will seamlessly push you onto another server. Now, this is different from object container streaming, although those server barriers may very well be object containers themselves. It's not the same thing, really. Object container streaming, they will cut down objects, planets, ships, areas of space, so that they are sensibly kind of compartmentalized, so that your memory and RAM and GPU and the server knows what to update in them to be the most efficient. So server meshing, different from object container streaming. Object container streaming making stuff a lot more efficient. Server meshing making the seamless nature of all those servers connecting, coming together. And it's coming with a few other things, server meshing as well, like the lobby system for it, and lots of other back-end refactors, and lots of more efficiency things that they're all pushing. There's lots of stuff coming before server meshing, which will hopefully potentially get hundreds of people on the same servers anyway, and then they can keep on pushing this tech. Now, they've talked about what exactly the first pass of server meshing will be, because the end goal is to have every single player, if possible, in the same shard. So everyone's in the same server, like an EVE, basically, but without the time dilation, if lots of players turn up together. And for their first pass, they're planning to segment the Stanton system into sections. So you'd have Port Olisar and Yella and the planets and the moons all in their own servers, potentially multiple servers for those areas, and the tech for those servers to spin up and spin down based on their needs. They obviously set up all the borders between that. Although it's meant for if you're traveling at quantum travel before you transition to another server, they would also just have a hard border. So if you were going at your standard speeds, your standard SCM speeds or afterburn speeds, you could potentially change server. They're not server region connecting yet. So you're still going to have EU servers for the EU and the US servers for the US. Eventually, I believe the plan is to have US, EU and Asia and all that sort of stuff potentially all sharing a server together. Now, that might change in the future. They might go, well, we need to region lock Asia compared to US and Europe. They might do that. We don't 100% know. It's always best to keep your mind open when it comes to this kind of development process, where they're talking about their plans, might not go smoothly. I mean, and it's potential, there's a potential there that server meshing won't be what they want it to be, so they have to go do it down a different route. It looks more and more likely that it is going to be server meshing now because they are focusing on it. But yeah, so I really liked this. I love the idea that we're going to have server meshing this year. This is potential. We could have potentially thousands of people in a server together this year. I mean, it's likely to be a buggy piece of shit in the first implementation. We all know what the just before Christmas patches are like. They're fixing them on Christmas Day occasionally. But this is a big push. Something I didn't think was coming until next year, which is great. Yes, the artwork does look great, doesn't it? Thank you, appreciate it. Oh, you've sent me a DM. What have you sent me, noob? The noob tried to phone me during... Oh, God. Sorry to hear that, noob. Jeez. Feel free to share that if you wish to share that with everyone else. I hope everything's cool, man. Nothing super major. Don't worry. Anyone in the chat, it's just... Hashtag cat troubles. Well, I've got a terrible back myself, so I'll contact Saurus and see if Saurus wants to postpone potentially the Redacted podcast tonight, as I am feeling super rough. Still have a load to do in my room, and I'm taking more painkillers than I should for my back at the moment. Where did I print the canvases? My print. Let me have a look. Is it my picture on my picture? My print. My picture. My-picture.co.uk. They do canvases. It's the UK-based service. I'm not sure if they do US or Europe. They probably do. Have a look. It's very cheap, if not free postage. And if you wait until their sales, which they have sale like every other week on a certain size of canvas, you can get whatever pictures you want done pretty cheaply. And I'm talking like these canvases are between 12 and £22 each. The big one being like 22 quid, and then the smaller ones being between them. I know. Thank you very much. Like I'm so happy. The room looks great. Thank you. That's a you guys stream donations. That is entirely paid for by stream donations. Is it me, or are there lots of keybinding issues? Yes. It's not. Well, it's not you. There are lots of keybinding issues. It's hellish. I'm going to work out ways to lock in XML profile stuff and do pre-downloaded saved sets of keys for 3.1. So I literally go, this is the standard 3.0 layout. If they change keys again, sort of like, no, this is the standard 3.0 layout. This is the standard 2.6.3 layout that you might remember. I'll find ways of doing it. That there has to be. Just that I can just go wham bam, download that, pull that in. Just go back to what it used to be. And there's lots of issues literally pressing keys that I find, like, I haven't actually tested it much in 3.0.1 because I'm not using missiles very often. I had problems with locking missiles and then firing missiles. Like, you can lock them, but you can't fire them. I don't know. I don't like people touching, like, trying to massage me. It makes me tense. Is it true Star Citizen is losing the community? Because I notice less players around. So there's hype waves, I suppose. 3.0 still has problems, has major issues with performance. I'd say it's certainly losing concurrent players. They're probably waiting for 3.1. I wouldn't say they're losing community. It's part of the process. It always happens. Running helps with back problems. Now, Randy, that might be true, but I do not believe you for my personal situation. Number one, running hurts in all situations for me because I'm a tubby bastard. Number two, my back hurts. Come on, I'm not going for a run. Will ship spawning work from any port or just your home hangar? So, at the moment, well, at the moment you can kind of spawn them from any terminal, sort of like as soon as you spawn to them, then it says that they're here. In the future, I don't actually know how they're going to handle the first spawns. So in the short term, I suspect that you will have to, that everything will be stored at like Port Olisar, and you'll have to transfer everything to where you want, and it will stay there. Persistence is coming in 3.1. Persistence is coming properly. Or at least more and more and more persistence. All the persistence they wanted in 3.0 is coming in 3.1, is the idea there. In the future, like game release or a little bit further out, as it were, you're going to be able to have ships and hangars, and they're going to be literally in those hangars. Physicalized hangars around the versus the plan is. Whether or not that's 100% going to work out, we won't know. But you're not going to be able to just walk up to a terminal and just spawn a ship if it's not actually there. At 3.1, expect much more persistence with just everything in the verse. And when we have persistence in hangars, so at the moment they're wanting to merge hangars in-game, so that we have hangars in-game entirely, so that nothing really is... They don't want the social module separate, they don't want the hangar module separate, they want all of that directly in the persistent universe. So, potentially for 3.3 onwards, we'll start to say that. Thank you very much, JDs. Love your face. Contribution to board yoga show. I'm crossing my legs, you can't see that. Let's do that. I don't do yoga. Jeez. The thought of yoga is painful, to be honest. I don't know exactly when we get persistent hangars, but from 3.3 onwards, it's much more likely that we could have persistent hangars in the universe that will physically be there. We actually have persistence in our hangars properly, I suspect in 3.1. Yeah, 3.0 was buggy for most people, in fact for everyone. It was important that they pushed it out at Christmas. I would have hoped they would have fixed some of the pretty annoying bugs like the golf ball bug and the ESP and interdiction and IFCS stuff a lot quicker. I know they were actually testing the interdiction stuff for various reasons, so it's probably quite important. But I just wish it would have been addressed quicker. Personally, I'd be playing it a lot more. At the moment, I'm kind of waiting for 3.1 now. Okay, no, I love David Mitchell. Okay, I'll maybe go for a walk later, okay? It'll help me lose some weight as well. So, I'm currently envisioning hangars and living spaces that you can rent in cities like ArcCorp, and like around the Stanton system. So on those civilized planets, I suspect that we'll be renting apartments, we'll be renting hangars, similar-ish, I suppose, to GTA 5. But probably more physicalized, if possible. It's the sort of thing that they're looking at now, and they're trying to get in, and they iterate upon it, and we'll have to see how it goes, and then they'll ask for feedback, and we'll give it, and it will go into a certain direction. And all the stuff is not 100% sort of like, this is the blue skies thinking idea for this. They haven't got that yet. They haven't finished their design briefs on all of the stuff. What do I think about Piracy, since it's a massive selling point in the game? Saying stolen ships will disappear after a time is bad, in my opinion. So that's only in the short term. They corrected that statement about Piracy and said, yeah, that the plan is to have ships that can be permanently stealable in the future. It's just in the short term, 3.0, 3.1, probably this year, not so much. Thanks, Alfred. Grind bits for my yoga. I mean, no, 3.0.1 is a bit better and fixes some of the big issues that prevented people from playing. But there's still some. Performance is still terrible. We can't ignore that. It's hard to play. You need more frames. Impressive that it runs. Like, it's cool. It's an alpha. It's very pretty. It's got some cool game mechanics and stuff. But it's not a sit down and play game at all. It's very much an alpha test. When we have a ship in another area and it needs to be delivered, will people be given contracts for that, or will we see NPCs delivering the ships? Could we intercept the delivery? Yes. You'll be able to intercept and mess around with other players and steal their stuff, and it's going to be one of the things that's going to make missions more dynamic, more exciting for both players. And I suppose it's one of the important things for the game that counter missions will be generated as well. So someone's doing a mission, and outlaw counter missions or other faction counter missions or related missions might be generated for players or NPCs to go and do things that interrupt or are a byproduct of the mission that you've taken. So server meshing is literally multiple servers running seamlessly together to allow lots of players in the same system. So in Star Citizen's kind of case, you've got Stanton, and Stanton will be broken up into multiple sections, server running each of those sections. And so you could have like a server running just yellow, or multiple servers, I suppose, running just yellow. And then you'd, as you quantum travel, as you move across the borders, you'll be on a different server seamlessly. That is effectively what server meshing is, and the idea eventually is allowing everyone to be on the same shard. So that's the best outcome from that. Should I sell the Prospector and buy the Vulcan? Depends on the gameplay you want. If you're after mining, give the Prospector. If you're after support and distress signal gameplay, then get the Vulcan. Normally with concept sales, do we see other ships go on sale along with it? Sometimes. It depends exactly what the concept sale is, really. Now, there's typically those game packages, or like a big ship package that will come along with it, with lots of ships in, and the concept new concept ship or vehicle in. Sometimes they have like other packs and vehicle packs, and sometimes they have like, if you don't want the Tumbril Cyclone, maybe you want the Tumbril Nova. That sort of kind of concept sale. Yeah, so I found doing a little bit of exercise and changing my diet when I was like super depressed did help a lot, admittedly. I was happy at the brief mention of mining, but did they really go into the technology and how it was going to work? No, not really. We're not even 100% sure if they're going to use voxel-based asteroids anymore. It sounded like they were moving entirely away from a voxel-based mining mechanic. And it was going to be more sort of like scan, survey, and then gameplay mechanic. Which would be fine still. You don't need voxel-based mining, I suppose. It's just extra cool. Microtech is still part of the Stanton system, yes. Levski and Delamar is not. But it's currently part of the system, but will eventually get moved out. Microtech will probably be the last one they do. Expect something like Microtech maybe early 2019. It's domed Microtech. Will there be any real quest line in the PU? At the moment, and from my predictions, it looks like Alpha UEC grind. Yes, so short term, mid term, Alpha UEC grind. And no hooks to play. 3.1 might have purchasable ships, or have more purchasable items, certainly. If it's not in 3.1, ship buying with Alpha UEC, it will be in 3.2. Now, that's a big hook to play, being able to test all the ships. They are going to get more and more in-depth missions, so there's more ways of getting Alpha UEC, and they're putting more and more mechanics in that you can lose UEC at Alpha UEC as well. So, yeah, at the moment, definitely just an Alpha UEC grind, nothing really to do. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, more and more content, more and more to do, not just grind. I hope there's a high security areas where piracy is very difficult. Yeah, so you're going to have UEE zones, UEE space, much harder to do piracy in, if almost impossible. And then the Stanton area, much more sort of like, there's private security and there's piracy happening as well. So if you stick to safer routes, you're going to be reasonably safe. More on the fringes of the Stanton system though, lots more pirates, or certain areas, lots more pirates. Like you've got the, is it the Nine Tails? The Nine Tails and stuff like that. They've got pirate groups there. When should we expect the Vulcan? I expect that it's going to get through the pipeline relatively quickly, but I don't really know when. Early 2019, maybe? Server meshing is a cornerstone of Star Citizen currently. Either server meshing, or if they go, well, this is inappropriate for what we're going to do, they'd go down another route. But at the moment, server meshing is a cornerstone. They want everyone in the same server. That's the way they're planning to do it. Actually, I don't eat sugar either, really. Sugar in my tea, that's pretty much it. Don't have puddings, don't have much chocolate. I have, like, maybe a bar of chocolate every week. So, that's good. We get persistence in 3.1. What exactly will persist? Good question. So, it's the persistence they wanted for 3.0, which sort of worked for 3.0. So, when you go to an area, like Levski, Port Olisol, whatever, when you die, you will now respawn in those areas, the last major area that you visited. When you log out with your ship in space, when you log back on, you will be there. So persistence of areas that you've been. I believe it's also going to generally be your ships persist in the hangars that they're supposed to be in, and that sort of stuff as well. So anything you bring aboard your ship, cargo in your ships, all will persist. Vehicles will persist in those ships, and you can log off and log back in, and be there when you log back in where you were previously. So basic persistence, but it's something that's very important for us to play. Also, this is going to be persistence in a lot of data as well, so it should persistently save your face, because you can change the way you look, and that sort of stuff, and reputations, changes to your ship. Will there be a single-player element to Star Citizen, apart from Squadron 42? So there's going to be Squadron 42 Episode 1, 2, and 3, all of which are their own AAA games. I believe they're entirely standalone, effectively. Star Citizen, however, is basically an MMO, first-person shooter, slightly role-play game, I suppose. But it's a space sim, FPS, MMO. It's a massively multiplayer game. It is. I mean, you can't get around that now. It doesn't play like a typical MMO, but it is. You can play it. You can play it pretty solo. You can play it pretty PvE, but there are going to be players around. So it's as single-player experience as you want. Question: how are they going to fix the ship flying mechanics for keyboard and mouse users? Well, I am a keyboard and mouse user, basically. I mean, I do have lots of other peripherals and stuff I do occasionally use, mainly for videos or just so I can have a bit of knowledge about them. But the most simple way of recording and playing an FPS game, which also has the ability to control a spaceship, is mouse and keyboard, because I'm going to keep on switching between the two and running around and doing lots of things that aren't just HOTASy. So it just needs work. They need to work on the controls, they need to work on the IFCS, they need to work on the ESP, and there's, in the current flight model, the ESP and the IFCS, so your ship's responsiveness, your ship's aim, your ship like shake, it's all kind of broken. It's bugged. They've got fixes for it apparently. I was hoping there was going to be a 3.0.2 patch to fix it, but it looks like it's going to be rolled into 3.1 now, along with a load of other quality of life and core kind of mechanic updates, or at least tweaks to make that feel a bit better and more responsive. So don't worry too much about mouse and keyboard. You're going to be really fucking competitive. They're working on it. Don't know exactly how they're going to fix it other than by fixing it. Do you know if they're planning on simulating violent winds? Yes, they are. Winds, weather, environmental hazards, lots of different stuff. Yeah, and it's going to affect your flight path, or at least your IFCS, cost you more fuel to do things. It can move you around, especially if your IFCS is damaged or thrust is damaged. Well, if thrust is damaged, I suppose, rather than your IFCS. When your thrust is damaged, then your ship can shake and horrible things can happen. Don't think this talking losing weight is a dig, brother. We just hope you need you alive for the next 20 years while the game's being developed. Wow, that'll be good. I'm very much aware of my health, so I'm looking to exercise. I am dieting and lots of stuff. It's because I was like, super depressed for 2 years. I just gained a load of weight. I gained 3 stone, more than I want, so I'm losing it now. Already lost 3 pounds in weight since in a week, so need to continue that, eating healthily. For persistence in 3.1, don't you have to be in one of 3 locations to respawn it? You can't just reload anywhere on the moon, can you? They said in the calling all devs that you'll be able to log back in where your ship was, where you logged out with it. And they said that very specifically differently, so you'll also be able to spawn in Volosar, Grimhex and Levski and that sort of stuff as well. So it should, and that was the persistence they wanted in 3.0 and were testing. So they finally fixed it, or fixing it. So you mean when I'm landed and I'm not even moving, my pips will no longer randomly move on their own? I know, it's fucking ridiculous. So there was loads of issues with the core combat at the moment, and they've kind of partly fixed it in the short term by making the pirates a lot easier to kill. Can you tell me something about performance in 3.0 and if it's normal for a supercomputer? You can be able to get 15 frames. Yes, it's currently normal. That is the current normal, the average.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this.
Thank you very much. I love your face, CRP Jester. Thank you for the host. So, me and Nebufar and some other people get really good frames because of the times of day we play. Pretty much it. So we got onto a server where no one's being like interdicted. It might be a fresh server, might be a newish server. We play in the mornings in our region and don't get so many issues. But when servers get older, so after they've been up for a few hours and they're full, then people are constantly getting quantum interdicted. There's loads of problems, loads of items not getting cleaned up. And these are things they're working on, and it's good that they've identified that they can get massive performance boosts if these things don't happen. So if ships spawn and they get cleaned up, they don't get such bad performance degradation, or at all in some cases, or for a lot longer anyway. So lots of reasons why they're testing interdiction. When are they going to make Battle Royale / Battleground in this game? They actually talked about it on Calling All Devs or one of the RTBs, where they said, well, if we did anything similar to that, it would be very Star Citizen-y. I was like, well, that's good, because the game's called Star Citizen, and it would be in Star Citizen. Expect something PUBG or Battle Royale-esque once there is modding tools. Someone will make it, and it will probably be pretty good. There's a load of people who will try and make them, and one of them will be pretty good. I remember a few years ago, Crytek and Star Citizen announced sort of HOTAS and keyboard tech they were going to make specifically for Star Citizen. Is this still a thing? So there was a Mad Catz or Crytek branded Star Citizen HOTAS, which they were planning to make, and other peripherals, which they were talking about. However, Crytek got bought out by Logitech and bought from Mad Catz, and Mad Catz went bust, but are now, well, went into administration or whatever, but are now have come back under a new name. Now, Logitech bought Crytek so they could do their own range of joysticks and HOTAS and stuff like that, basically. And they've just re-released the X56 Logitech edition, which is a vastly improved X56 fucking win, because that thing was actually pretty good, but it could have done with some improvements, which they've now done. The Star Citizen HOTAS, however, and Star Citizen peripherals were effectively killed in action when Crytek and Mad Catz were having troubles. So, Sandy said a few months ago that they will revisit a potential Star Citizen HOTAS with someone after 3.0 and Squadron 42 are released. So, basically we're waiting for Squadron 42 to be released for a peripheral. This is a good thing, because we don't know how much more the flight mechanics are going to change. We don't know if they're going to need more buttons on their bloody joysticks. And what I would say also is check out the new X56, check out the Thrustmaster T16000M, and check out the new Verpil Constellation, because all of those are great sticks and HOTAS and stuff. You need to have Star Citizen on an SSD. It just doesn't really cut it on a mechanical drive. The combat is significantly better now than it was in 3.0, but it's not as good as 2.6.3. And they need to get those core improvements in the game to make the game more playable. 3.1, really looking forward to it, just because performance. Stability is the elephant in the room. Is it? Is it stability, or is it optimization? I mean, it's probably a balance between the two, to be honest. But, They could do a PUBG type mode where you start off in spaceships or on a station, and then it goes planet scale. You can start off in the Stanton system with 10,000 players or 1,000 players, and then it could go all the way down onto Yellow on a circle. Do you know what I mean? The scale of that, they could have instead of a circle coming in, it could be a proper orb coming in. They could do some amazing stuff with that. You could do some really fucking clever stuff. An extra dimension. So actually, with the Faceware and the face over IP stuff, I messaged and tweeted Faceware a while ago, and they basically said, watch this space, it's coming soon. So we'll find out more about Faceware's pre-orders and their face cams soon. I'm expecting it like probably end of this month, maybe. What's the word on stars being physicalized? Well, they are definitely their own entities. And they produce light, which and all the planets and everything revolve around them. I'm not sure how physicalized they are though. They'll probably be a area where you just get killed when you get too close, so they don't need to be too physicalized. They're definitely they're an object, they're an entity or something they place. Why should you buy fancy weapons and equip them to your ship if you lose them when the game crashes or your ship gets destroyed? Totally agree. That's why 3.1 is going to have better persistence for that. I'm not sure when we're going to get deeper insurance features to allow you to insure those weapons, but persistence in 3.1 should allow you to go, oh, I've disconnected because of a crash. I can respawn immediately back onto my ship where it was. And they're also going to be ways that you can more quickly reconnect to your server from an ungraceful disconnect. So ungraceful disconnect means you've crashed out or you've Alt F4'd rather than gone through the process of logging out. What's the ship in the background? Idris and the Gladius. What, if any, fiction do you read? I don't really read much. I'm quite into 40k lore and fiction. I'm going to start going back into doing some 40k. Maybe have a little bit on my channel or my second channel. I'm going to some tournaments and stuff. I'm relatively good at painting. One of my mates, Stefan, was talking about it recently. So I'll probably do some stuff with some of my other mates. Do some 40k stuff. Yeah, some people just don't like the PUBG kind of game mechanics and mode. I find it quite cool, but it's only quite stressful all the time. After seeing that, asked the devs, did you see the Reclaimer model? Oh my god, I need to buy one now, yeah. 3D print them. Get them 3D printed. You can find the resources online for the actual pre-made 3D printing stuff. The actual, you know what I mean. Someone's made a printable 3D thingamajig file that you can just chuck in. Or assemble it like a model though. When will the Idris be in game? There's a potential for the Idris to be in game from 3.3 onwards. That's when object container streaming's in. That's when the network container streaming and all that sort of like optimizations in, which those capital ships require. More likely to be from 3.4 onwards, I suppose, with server meshing. So good because I want to test them both together. Thank you very much, CRP Jester. Love your face. We don't know exactly when though. It's literally when the network head can support them. So potentially from 3.3 onwards. So the Carrack and the Banu Merchantman are currently not in active development. No. So they are working on the short term for ships for 3.1 and 3.2, and then need to, I suppose, reschedule assets based on how long it takes them to do stuff. We'll have to wait and see if there's any form of work on them done this year with the Carrack and the Banu Merchantman. Will the stars have stability and optimization, or will they go Nova when the server gives up? Oh wow. Has CIG ever stated in the PU what system people will start in, or your actions in Squadron 42 determine your starting system. Your Squadron 42 actions may have an effect, potentially, allowing you to have an extra zone to spawn in or choose your zone for you, whatever. But the idea that they talked about with your hangars is there will be a selection of places that you can choose to start in, that you can choose to place your hangars in that you have on your account. So there's not just going to be one. The plan is to have multiple areas to place your hangars. So multiple start areas, basically. Which hand should I use a joystick if I already have a mouse and keyboard and I'm used to it? Whatever's the most comfortable hand to use a joystick in. And if you're right-handed, probably your right hand for a joystick. Probably your mouse hand. I can escorts when I can play solo. No, why not? If people have an option to not have to deal with other players, they won't. So then what's the point of making it an MMO? Hopefully Star Citizen never gives that option to players, or else it's doomed to fail as an MMO in the same way as ED. I mean, there's going to be a large amount that you can do PvE, but there's going to be a large amount of socialization still. I mean, when you come back to Olisar and wherever else in the verse that you want to sell your equipment and all that sort of stuff, there'll be players around. That the idea is that you can avoid players to a large degree in certain systems, and others much harder to avoid them. And I don't agree that players will just avoid other players, and that's how players want to play. There's a huge range of gamers that want totally different things from Star Citizen. But there's going to be other players that you meet and see in game, even if you don't really want to. Now, whether or not they're pirates or not will depend largely on where you are, what you're doing. Metal Gear Survive is PUBG. It's quite different, it looks. I mean, I was playing it, quite enjoying Metal Gear Survive. But I'm very much into quite simple base builders, loot and shoots, tower defense stuff. I quite like that chilled out gameplay. Have they announced when they are finally giving us UEC from the EA store? No, so the idea is that if you've made Voyager Direct purchases with UEC, so you've paid money for UEC, that they're either going to forcibly refund you for your items that you bought for that, or they're going to give you the option to refund your items bought through that in the future, but I don't know when. Yes, I've got a Vulcan. One of the chips I desperately wanted, because I was like, this is going to be gold for videos, telling people how to make the most money out of their Vulcan and all the game mechanics they can play and all that sort of stuff. Hey Board, do you have any idea of the ratio of coders to artists in CIG? No, I can take a closer deep dive look at the makeup of their studios if you want. I'll write that down. Yeah, feel free to ask your questions again, but apologies if I don't see them straight away. I won't see them straight away. Been out of the loop, but is there any progress on the Crytek lawsuit? Nope. We haven't had anything for a while. At the moment, it's waiting for a judge to look at the motion to dismiss. So they will, the judge will go with each of the individual points, whether to dismiss them or to keep them. Now, it's quite likely that some of them will make it through to go to court and to be looked at. We just don't know what or why or whatever yet. So potentially, I think it was 90 days from a couple of weeks ago. So you're looking at 2 to 2.5 months sort of thing before we know. Potentially, but it's not going to be bad, even if they lost all of the points. To be honest, it'll be a bit of a drop in the ocean money wise for CIG. But hopefully, it'll all a large amount of it will get chucked out, and then they can fight it more easily without having to spend backer money. That's the worry, is that even if it's just to cut like $1 million or $2 or something, that's still $2 million of backer money that just feels like you pissed it in the wind. Hey, amigo, you're going to be on tonight. What does that mean, Benjamin? Oh, Jester, you're talking to someone else. What? Big Brother has arrived, and it's you. Investigate the lives of citizens to find those responsible for a series of terror attacks. Information from the internet, passive communications, and private files are accessible to you, but beyond the information you supply will have consequences. Saying that, saying stuff like that, I'm quite interested in doing some augmented reality and some puzzly games, which I'll probably do in the future, with some prizes and things maybe. I can't find the answer anywhere after seeing everyone from Gamescom wear a different colour uniform. Are you aware when we will get the blue and white option or more colour options for the uniforms? Nope. When they put them in. We're getting more and more clothes and more different things from patch to patch, but how much impact does the clever new technology for streaming in objects and places have in real time? Is there an indication of that? No, with no indication that we can physically see yet, really. 3.3 is where it comes in, the object container streaming stuff. It should be significant, like massive. With object container streaming, do you see it being possible to have a third-person view of a ship visible in the HUD or landing or flying in general? I can see they can do stuff like that, yeah. They've got the render detection tech, they've got the secondary viewport tech, they could potentially have drones and stuff, capturing cameras, so that could justify third-person cameras as well. Oh, lots of people are messaging me. Oh. So, Mr. Oliver East, who makes Just Push Start UK and asks the devs breakdowns, and they're actually pretty good. He scours the interwebs for lots of dev responses and puts them down in interesting ways. He's done one with Nubifer. Check these out. They're very good. They're very informative. Give him a love. Give him some love. Give him a love. Just the one. Would a photorealistic version of Star Citizen VR strike you as more interesting than actually exploring exoplanets in reality? I don't know. I see what you mean. Like I'm really interested in the colonization of Mars IRL. I think it's a great thing that we can do to ensure the survival of our species. I do want man and womankind to spread among the stars, not as like a horrible virus evil empire, but as a pioneering Star Trek almost exploration and colonization. And if something terrible happens in our own solar system, like a supernova or whatever, the species continues, the species survives, which is good. That's what we want. But the idea of having something so awesome, awesome virtuality in your home that you don't need to do anything like that is an interesting one as well. I love technology. Like, if we can have a virtual world like Matrix where everyone is fucking super happy, then why would we need to visit the stars? It's an interesting one. And both may be important because both will probably appeal to people in different ways. I don't know which I'd prefer though. Question, if I'm smuggling illegal cargo like drugs and I meet another player, will he get the option to either ignore me or could he, like, give me a warning to AI space cops so I get a crime status? It's an interesting one. I think there might be the potential if a player sees you doing something, he can press a button and then it's sort of like, if it detects anything criminal going on in the area when you press the button, that maybe you could get a criminality rating because you're transmitting that to the cops. The idea is with the criminality stuff is that if you take down, if you're not detected, if you take down the comm arrays and stuff, and then you like attack people or whatever, and then there's no detection mechanism there, that you will be fine to attack them. So maybe players can act as relay points for comm arrays in certain situations or whatever, maybe. I don't know. It's something they'll probably look at. after the servo meshing thing, will you be able to travel without quantum jumps from system to system? No. You'll need to quantum jump. I mean, okay, technically, you could travel entirely around a system in your conventional drive, which it would just take days, months, weeks, whatever. I don't think you'll be able to travel from system to system with your conventional drive. I think it is literally too far, and because it's too far, they'll just go, well, we need to separate them. They're not actually physically connected, really. They're just connected by these jump portals. Do you think it would be a good idea to slow down quantum travel between Crusader modes to speeds on par with the full system, at least until full systems open up? No. I think people want to test things more quickly between areas. See what I mean? It'd be fine to do it between planets. So having like a 5-minute jump in Stanton between Hurston and Microtech, that'll be fine. But between the moons and stuff, you want them short jumps so that people can test stuff out. So people aren't just going, yeah, I got in, traveled for 5 minutes and then crashed. It's alpha. You want quicker kind of turnarounds on gameplay, I suppose, on gameplay loops. Vape Nation, mate. Sorry, I'm giving yawning. Didn't sleep much last night and the night before. Terrible back because I've been sleeping downstairs a lot. And just sat off the bed again, things like that. When will we start to get to see new planets, moons, and stations? So in 3.3, we're getting planets and moons. And in 3.4, we're getting planets and moons. So if you have a look. Oh, cock. Bear with me. Let's get this green screen back up. Tubby. Oh, sorry for soup. So, I don't think we're getting anything in 2.2 other than probably just more points of interest and general polish passes and areas to sell in. But in 3.3, so this is in September, we should be getting Hurston, which we saw in the thingamajig, the CitizenCon 2017 demo. As well as all of the Hurston moons and some Imperial landing zones and lots more types of points of interest, comrades, the modular rest stops, so the modular space stations, and then in 3.4, which is December, and we're getting land claims, that's not what I wanted to show, and we're getting Planet ArcCorp and Area 18 and lots of ArcCorp moons as well. Potentially, if they get the gas tech all working fine and they have enough resources and time, you'll get to see the Orison, the Crusader landing zone. Sorry, I was distracted. Will cap ships despawn when you log off? We don't know yet, I suppose, is the real answer to that. I think there's a potential for them to despawn after a certain length of time. So after several hours, they could potentially despawn, or they might persist there unless they're around, unless they're docked around a planet or something. We don't know. Is the honest answer, and I suspect CIG will plan lots of things and then test them all out before we know. I heard the Retaliator is going to go in for a rework at some point. Any of this true? It's definitely going to see, at the very least, light modelling updates and materials updates. same as pretty much all the ships. But nothing, I don't suspect we'll see anything of the level of rework that other ships have got, though, like the Avenger or whatever. Will we get some more Corvette-sized ships? I suspect so. I suspect we'll see some more medium, large, and Corvette-sized ships. From different companies, yeah. Will we get some... That's what you said already. Is this a wig? No. No. Do you think we'll see Titan armor for sale this year? Yes. I think we'll see a concept sale for it. I think it will make them a lot of money as well. When do I expect a beta? I expect a beta mid-2020 now. When I'm expecting a beta for the game. Maybe pushing towards the end of 2020. It will depend on a lot of things. We can have a better guesstimate at the end of this year. When is VOIP and VOIP? So, we're getting VOIP and VOIP in 3.3 is the current plan. You have a look here, Crytek. You can see lots of cool stuff coming, but VOIP and VOIP integration. There's potential that we get VOIP before then in some form, but it says it's both VOIP and VOIP. Both face over IP and voice over IP in September's 3.3 patch. I'm going to chuck the CitizenCon 2017 one up because we were talking a lot about that. The Space Kitty will be coming back, do not worry. Why did you replace the beautiful board sellout Space Kitty with a fucking skillet? That is a PUBG pan, and that has done the correct thing, Citizen Stanman, because that is to represent people being butthurt. I'm saying you are butthurt about my pan. Why you hate the pan? Yeah, it's for PUBG, literally the PUBG pan. CIG, and I play a lot of PUBG, and I quite enjoy it. And CIG, except, well, let's go back to this actually, because this opens up some stuff for Star Citizen. I love PUBG. I think it's a really well thought out, made, quick, arcadey, battle royale game. I think it's good. Really fun, really enjoy it in teams. Love looting. Love, oh, I'm dead. Straight back into another game. Wham, bam, cool, sorted. The amount of cheating in that game is extreme, and the way it's handled with, oh yeah, we banned a load of cheaters. I don't have any proof that they banned cheaters, and their cheat protection just seems to do fuck all. Like the cheating now, they had this cheat protection come online. They said they were trying new ways of cheat protection. Like a day or two, we saw very few, if no, cheaters, and then the cheats got more extreme than they were previously. So it looks like there's like subscription services for cheats or whatever. Now, that's hell. Like, I'll still play it, I'll still enjoy it, even though I know that in games there's going to be a cheat, or a group of cheaters, or multiple groups of cheaters, and we lose our games and like come like third rather than first and stuff. Typically to a cheater, or will die like at the very beginning of the game to just everyone on our team's been headshot by magic. So that happens quite regularly. It also makes me salty when I get killed legitimately because I assume it's a cheater to start with until I look at the death cam. So there's a death cam in that, which is useful. Maybe they want to do that in Star Citizen, maybe have a death cam. Or it's going to be interesting because hopefully it'll be a lot harder to cheat in the MMO, but people will still try. I hope there's some good cheat protection in Star Citizen. We've seen people were cheating in Star Marine. People were locking on through walls and killing people through walls in Star Marine. Like, it's pretty gash. But it's odd that PUBG still survives as one of the most played games, and is really fun, even though it has a massive, huge level of hackers. And now one of the things they could do actually to help restrict the hackers is it is largely Asian crate farmers who are farming crates by cheating, so they get loads of these battle points, opening crates and then selling the items. So if they region lock Asia, China, wherever people keep saying region lock China, in PUBG, that could fix it. If they had more powerful cheat protection, it could fix it as well. So just cheating and stuff that's unfair, so people cheating and stuff like that, really pushes my buttons. Like, ugh, that angers me. Star Citizen, I play with my org, but occasionally solo players fun. I haven't had many toxic people, so I'm not too very good. If the door gets buggy, it'll lose the blah blah. Crimestat just increased from 0 to 1 after I donned some armor and bought a rifle. What? I haven't fired a shot yet. How odd! Did you park your ship in a weird place? Did you definitely land your ship properly? You're cheating. No, I don't know. Buggy game, buggy. I love Star Citizen. I think it's beautiful. I like showing it to people. But my rig and everything I've got is very focused on Star Citizen. My brain is focused on understanding Star Citizen at all stages. So I avoid a lot of the bugs and the problems that they have. But a lot of my friends that I'd want to get into the game and play with wouldn't. They'd be like, "Why can't? Oh, my crashed. Or can I do this? Oh, what? I'm stuck in a ladder." I just automatically avoid a lot of problems like that. Kind of quit following Star Citizen lately. Anything awesome happened since 3.0 launched? They fixed a lot of, some of the bugs, but from an actual gameplay point of view, not much. Pirates are a lot easier to kill. You can actually complete those missions now. Pirates are easier to kill. The combat's a lot better, but still needs a load of fixes. So waiting for 3.1 is probably sensible for a lot of people. Will there be a time where we are able to access our metadata while logged on? Yeah, so they've talked about that, and they said that there may be APIs for info and data, some of that data. We don't know yet because it's not in our hands. Also, in-game, we can see that through MFDs and stuff like that. Mobileglass, MFDs, they're all going to go show us a load of that data, potentially. When will they fix ladders? Don't know, mate. They are fixed for some of the ships, definitely, but not for all of them. Yeah. So Star Citizen being unoptimized doesn't mean that people will necessarily get terrible frames constantly, especially if you're playing single player, or Arena Commander, or Star Marine. Your frame rate's going to be pretty good, typically. Even in the PU, some people are going to have good frames. It doesn't matter if their system's beast PC or not. Certain hardware, Star Citizen won't like. And there's bugs on the servers which cause massive frame rate problems. So got some light persistence at the moment, which is kind of fun. Commodities trending. It's also implemented in its basic form. Yeah, there's some great stuff in Star Citizen. It's very pretty. There's just no long-term gameplay loops. You can do that for like a few hours and you're done. You've done it all. You can do all the missions. It's probably like you can probably grind out 30 hours of gameplay, I'd say, from 3.0 if you're a fan. And then if you're a more extreme fan or whatever, you can do it a bit longer. You're right, Zen, I'm streaming, by the way. I'm going to streaming live, but you're more than welcome to turn up. Just realised I was on our Mumble server. It did.
Hello.
Do you think we'll see the Vulcan ship in 2018?
What are you doing then?
I'm just talking about Star Citizen, mate.
Ah, fair enough.
Don't know when the Genesis Starliner is coming out, Zen. I know. You love the Genesis Starliner.
I want my baby back.
I'll ask when I go to my Foundry 42 tour. I'll say,
yeah.
My friend Zen, he's always wanted to be an air stewardess, and this game it allows him to do that. So when is the?
I don't want to be an air stewardess. I would like to be an air steward.
Okay. Sorry, I
Yes.
didn't mean to assume your space gender. Except you're going to be an air stewardess because your character's going to be female.
No, I've actually started playing male characters now.
Well, you have to in Star Citizen, admittedly.
Well, yeah, but.
Whoa. Okay, so I'm putting the questions on the chat and hold for a second. Zen was very much of the school of thought that he liked to play female characters, especially in third-person games, because he didn't want to stare at a man's bum. Now, each to their own. It's all good, and sort of I understand that. Okay, yeah. I play female characters in games if the armor set is better. I literally look at the armor that I like and the top tier armors and stuff and go, those armors look cooler or whatever. So I played like a female monk in Diablo 3, for example, because I think they look better. Sorry, so why, Zen, are you now playing a man in games?
Because I don't talk much. I keep on getting called a trap.
So Zen plays a lot of VR chats, and I call him Lolly Man, because
Lolly Man, I don't care, because why not?
It's your superpower. You just become a 12-year-old Japanese schoolgirl.
Yeah, but I never hide the fact that I am male. Like, I don't
You just
care.
don't talk.
I just don't talk. So people assume, and then they find out, and then I'm like, what? I just like looking at a nice ass.
I mean, good job. I can't believe you're starting to become male characters now. How odd.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Blade and Soul, and I've got an actual male character. It's odd, because it's normally not me. I'm
interested to know other people's views on male to female characters, assuming that Star Citizen allows you, because it will in 3.4 apparently, to be female. Do other people, do they play off gender? Do they go, well, actually I want to play a girl because I like the idea of playing a girl, or I don't know. It's going to be armor based again for me, I suppose. Actually, no, it probably won't be anymore, because now I run a YouTube channel and stuff. People expect my character to look like a bald fuck. So,
yes.
yeah, it is. That's true. That's changed.
I need to start setting up OBS and everything. So
yes, I'd love to see you streaming.
Yeah, I won't be having my camera yet, but
no, we'll see the Vulcan probably in 2019. I doubt we'll see it in 2018. It's a potential though. I mean, I think 890 Jump, Carrack, Banning Merchantman, probably all 2019 ships now. I was hoping them to be this year, to be honest, but it looks much less likely. Don't assume my space gender. Thanks, Tristan. I won't. No, so server meshing.
Someone said something about me then. I keep on seeing it.
Will Zen start streaming? Yes, Zen will start streaming in the future. That's the plan.
Eventually. After the show, I'll probably start to try and get everything sorted.
Cool. Well, I'll stop relatively soon anyway, and then I can help out a bit.
Yeah. Well, I've got rehearsals tonight, so it's a bit of a busy night, but I'll be here for a while.
Latency issues between servers in server meshing, between regions, isn't going to be an issue for the first implementation, because they're planning to have it region locked anyway, effectively. So there'll still be the EU servers, Asia servers, and the US servers. Eventually, I believe they do want all of that to be EU and US and everyone on the same. So we'll have to see what form of latency and issues there are. But it could be very minimal. I mean, they're going to be leveraging Amazon Web Services and stuff, which does have amazing coverage and amazing servers. We'll have to wait and see. And we talked about that earlier. So some people play as themselves. Some people prefer to look at the feminine form, so they play as girls. Lots of people play like super versions of themselves or character that they've developed, which can be male or female.
Mm-hmm. No, I just like an ass.
You can be transgender and Star Citizen. Thank you, more relativist. Appreciate it for that comment. Whatever you identify as, I suppose. Well, if you're gender blind, well, it doesn't matter if you're gender blind, then, does it? You won't know. It's just there's going to be male and female, and their body types are going to be different, and then they're going to have customizable faces and heads. And then there will be, I believe, gender-specific clothing as well. His spirit animal is a 12-year-old Japanese schoolgirl. Yes, I think that is Zen's spirit animal. No, Molexa, you cannot play as a dog, although I'm sure people will make mods so that maybe you can play the wildlife on a planet. Why not?
Like a grasshopper.
Yeah, like a grasshopper. Why not? Like a 12-year-old Japanese schoolgirl.
I say 12 is a bit too young, yes.
What do you mean? In the animes, they're fucking young, a load of those girls, me. You fucking... Yeah. 14, they are. How the distress call work? So, distress calls are coming in 3.1 now, is the plan anyway. And literally, you will be able to open up your mobiGlas and say, distress call, help me. And then people will be able to take that as a mission. I believe that's the basic functionality of that. They'll get more in depth and they'll slowly become more and more player contracty, so you can have customizable contracts. But that's the basis of the distress calls. It's come and help me kill the pirates that are currently attacking me. I'm not entirely sure how it will be fully enforced or how it works out exactly what you need, but it will make you a quantum travel location that you can, that another player can then jump to. They don't plan to have the... Do they plan to have the Vulcan in... What? Read 3.3 roadmap. Have to have the Vulcan by then. Oh, well. I mean, they don't have to have it by then. They can try and push for it for then, but... I see the repair bots. You think the repair drones... potentially... No, so I think the small personal repair drones are Oh no, they're No, I see what you mean. Made some weird sounds, but I see what you mean. So they are doing hotfixes. We just don't know what they are and when they are. They are testing out the persistency, not the persistency stuff, the interdiction mechanics. So you might be on a server where they're not testing it, I suppose. They might have turned it off briefly. They might have turned it down to a small amount. You might be on a new server. Your server might degrade over time. But yeah, they are deploying hotfixes as and when.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this.
Thank you very much, bro. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you. Hello. Oh shit, Sen, you're actually moderating me.
I do kind of do what I'm supposed to do, ish.
Do the Xi'an have different or other genders than male and female, or are they like seahorses? They're like turtles, but I don't actually know. I don't know the mating habit law of any of the races. Not yet, anyway. Your VOIP is strong. Good job. Eventually, we will be able to play as aliens, is the plan. So, yeah. After release. Expect that after full game release. So, not until post-2021, quite likely. If you identify as a lichen, then you can be a lichen. Are you talking about, like, moss? Or as a wolf? Yes. Is CIG doing anything to reduce the recent quantum interdiction nightmare? They're testing it. They are literally stress testing a load of that stuff. They can change it at their end anytime they want. But they are testing it for various reasons for 3.1 and onwards. And as some people said, they're not having problems with interdiction on some of the servers they're on. So it's possible that they're not testing it on every server. Dang, what happened? I stepped away and came back to a grown man on here talking about pretending to be a teenage girl online. Not a teenage girl, I said he was 12. Preteen. Fucking hell.
You give the wrong impression of me, Monkey.
I do not give the wrong impression of you,
You
Lolly
do.
Man. I've got the videos to prove it, Zen. I said I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell. But there was time I started there. I'm going to tell everyone, Zen, about.
And I just shrugged.
No, you didn't. You laughed and giggled. And...
Yeah. It's only to you because when you're in VR, it's so nice to make you feel. You kind of shell up.
So I'm relatively confident in real life when I'm out, but I'm good at talking to people and stuff. But in VR, people want to touch you and they want to get close to you, and
it's so funny.
It's a bit weird sometimes, and I get a bit freaked out or a little bit. So like, DC will try and kiss me, like probably grab my face and kiss me. It's a bit weird. Zen will like. Zen, who is dressed up as a young anime girl, will come up to you. He's about 2 foot tall. Will try and touch you inappropriately,
stroking you and everything, just trying to make you feel as awkward as hell.
And it makes me feel awkward. That's what it is. It's like extreme awkwardness.
Yep, and I love it. But I don't really do that to anyone else because it doesn't affect them.
You need to get too close to your face in VR as well. It's my personal space being violated.
I need to go back on VR chat soon.
I mean...
I need to test my new avatar. I've been making one.
Umis for the short term.
On lunch.
Umis for the short term. Will our land claims be reset with each large patch release? Yes, almost certainly. They'll start a new database, KW0311 USMC. I don't know why I said your whole name like that this time. I want Wayne to have my ship crewed by direwolves. Is this an option? Unlikely, however, if you get enough players that identify as direwolves, then yes. Can repair drones be used to cut into ships for boarding actions? I don't know. I doubt it. I suspect there may be a drone that is for hacking or for breaching. But I see what you mean with repair drones. Like, I don't see why you couldn't weld a door open as much as you could weld it shut with a repair drone. But from the roadmap, this is why Vulcan for 3.3 mechanics necessary for players use specialised repair ships to perform ship-to-ship repairs on other players or NPCs. It makes sense. It does. And there's the repair bots as well. So they're getting drones for 3.3. They're getting the repair functions for 3.3. I 100% see what you're saying, that they are going to be trying to push for the Vulcan in the schedule. Okay, no, I can see that. I can see there's a potential for the Vulcan if they push really hard to get it into 3.3. Okay. Okay. Star Citizen is now using a heavily modified Lumberyard engine, which is based on CryEngine 3.8, I believe. 3.7 or 3.8? 3.8. Have you chosen the name for the Javelin? I think it's called Unboardable. It was either Unboardable or Shippy McShipface. I've got it written down. I need to do some more posts about that. I'm trying to work out exactly how the community Javelin is going to work at the moment. Or at least give some more information about that so we can help start to iterate upon that. There's a lot of time, but I'd like to get some of it sort of like semi-planned. He's not as... Zen is not as OCD as John Richardson. John Richardson is famously suffers from severe OCD. What's the latest with my room 2.0? It's mostly done now. That's a load of the acoustic foam. But the room is mostly... Well, it's painted entirely. The curtains back up. The ceiling is white. The walls... It's vacuum. Welcome to... Room looks nice. Nice. Trust me. Nice. I'm not going to take the... At my back, so I'm not going to keep on taking my green screen up and down. I'm going to keep on standing up either. Sorry. Need to take some painkillers in a second. Will crime stats eventually be Will crime stats eventually list the alleged infractions? Oh, maybe. I suspect you'd have a deeper info on pretty much everything. They talked about NPC logs being logged, like what they're doing and how they're doing it, so that you can check on them later and you can see if they've had to cancel any like orders you've given them. I can imagine with crime stats and what exactly you're wanted for and stuff, they can give a log on that in a bit more detail, saying that this is exactly what he's wanted for and why, because it will be system based as well. Yeah, so a lot of updates are going to be driven by Squadron 42 schedules, definitely. Not entirely. So the PU and Squadron 42 will have their own sort of like, we need to push this, we need to push this, and then try and, as much as possible, use each other's assets and work on the same sort of things where possible. You know what I mean.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
5 months. Dilly dilly.
I don't know what dilly dilly means, but thank you very much, Jack Avalon. Dilly dilly, mate. So do you still enjoy playing the game in the state it is now? Yeah, but only occasionally to show people. It's I'm not going to sit down and grind it like I did in 2.6.3. I played a load in the Vakati phase of 3.0, but there's not much for me to do that I haven't done now. And the core combat, like I might play some Star Marine occasionally, but the core combat is just the RCS being broken, the SP being broken. It's a bit stressful. Stuff doesn't fly properly the way I want it. So not much at the moment, but I'll play it and get footage sometimes. I'll play it a little bit to keep fresh, but not a load. Looking forward to 3.1. Can you lift the veil on the price of the Vulcan since CIG has not made it public? It's available for 185 on Warbond for us currently, until the 22nd, in which case it goes on sale for everyone. It didn't say it was NDA'd or anything, it just said... It's a reasonably big ship, it looks cool. I'd say that's probably a slightly more expensive than I was going to expect it for, but pretty there. I'm not a criminal scum. I'm pretty anti-piracy and stuff, so this is not entirely. I'll probably look at it doing some on my channel at some point, but I very much like the idea of more toil and risk reward, but in a more lawful, potentially slightly outlawy point of view, but nothing aggressively PvP, typically anyway. I'll look at all gameplay though, I suppose, at some point or another. 3.0.2 is already out. There's 2.0.1 is in the past. They're both in the past. Jack Avalon, I don't know what Dilly Dilly is, but I will look it up. I'll look up the Bud Light commercials. If the focus is Squadron 42, why is there so much time spent on multiplayer performance in a single player game? It's because it's not the focus. Squadron 42 is not the focus. They're both separate focuses, effectively, and they just share resources. What about Willy Wonka? What? I will not on stream. Do you think we'll get the Drake carrier, even though it didn't win the poll? Yeah, I think we'll still see the Starlifter. I think we'll see the Kraken. I think we'll see all of them that they mentioned. Not necessarily coming from Drake, though, now. But, I'd like to see the civilian Drake carrier, though. Good day, sir. 3.0.2 out. We don't know if there's going to be a 3.0.2. 3.1 is getting very close to what we think is an Evocati phase. So it looks less likely that we're going to get a 3.0.2. Not impossible, though. How is everyone? Is everyone good? I think. All the carriers. Any other questions before I go and host someone else? What I'll do is I'm going to host someone else. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to help Sen with his sell-up for his streams and stuff, so at least he has some stuff in mind. And then I'm probably going to play some Rust until the podcast tonight, if we are indeed doing a podcast tonight, because my back is fucked. So I need painkillers as well. Star Citizen is a laggy mess, depending on what time you play, and eventually the servers that I play on do eventually seem to become, obviously because of the interdiction and the propagating of the pirate ships, they do seem to just die eventually. That could be several hours later though. There's no massive reason for me to play gameplay hook-wise at the moment though. Commodity trading and the missions. Done all the missions. Done some commodity trading. Nothing for me to buy. Off topic, what happened to the UT night server? Annual tournaments? Mr. Pinks, can you be more specific? Sorry, can you spell it out to me a bit better because I'm a bit derpy. We're going to be playing some Rust. Rust server. I will release the details of on the Discord later tonight. 3.1 between next Friday and mid-March. It depends on exactly what they're trying to test. So we kind of know what they're going to test in 3.1. It's mostly optimization, but there's a lot of other stuff. You think the Vulcan is master of none, or the best thing since sliced bread? You're up at almost 4 AM watching my face. Good job. Thank you. Appreciate it. I think the Vulcan is essential for the game. Thank you very much, CRP Jester. Thank you very much for the cheer, you legend. Thank you, thank you. I think it's very important for the game. I am very much looking forward to it, and it is much more exciting for me than the Crucible and the Starfarer are. Even though it's probably not going to be able to go and harvest its own fuel, although it might be able to. Might be able to siphon it out of other ships, for all I know. But yes, the Vulcan's cool. Very, very much needed. Not 100% about the podcast tonight. Probably should be a podcast tonight. I'll talk to Saurus in a minute. Because, as I said, still need to set up load in my room. Got about back. Dying. Haven't slept very well. But we'll see. Oh, Mr. Pinks. Yeah, so I'll talk to DC about it today. 100%. Unreal 2004, I'm really up for 100%. That stuff just gets, like, kind of semi-forgotten. So, no, my headphones are my old headphones. I've just repaired them. These are Sennheiser HDR 180s. They're fucking great. They're wireless. There's pretty much no audio lag with them, though. And I've fixed them myself by buying new pads for them, and then of a different type, and then affixing them with, like, the Velcro command strip stuff. It works like a fucking dream. Don't have to buy a $200 headset. I can just repair mine. Win. Yeah, so Vulcans in with a small fleet, essential. Vulcans in larger fleets that have got crucibles and Starfarers and things like that, still really useful and essential. Being able to go and refill and help out the smaller ships quicker, and grab supplies from those other ships. Still gas from parked ships and sell it potentially. Yeah, those drones may be able to do it in reverse. We did a DIY video on what you did for those headphones. Yeah, so I got a sticky thing, I stuck it on, and then, boom. Yeah. Right. Let me show you this stuff. It's like Velcro command strips. That's what it is. So, sticky on both sides. And it's pretty sticky, pretty damn sticky. I have to hold like a picture on a wall, and then it's Velcro in the middle. You stick it on something, you can Velcro it. So that's how the acoustic foam, for example, is going to be stuck on my walls and my windows and stuff. Is going to be using those. Right, I think we're going to go and host someone. And then I'm going to be back in a minute, potentially playing Rust. Love you guys. Thank you very much for the love and the subs and the donations. I will be back probably later tonight on the Redacted podcast, maybe. And we'll have to wait and see. I am in a reasonable amount of pain, but not the most amount of pain. Oh shit, who's streaming? Anyone streaming? Keen to come. Monster Hunter World. Lots of French and German people. Lots of AFK people.
I think Monkeys forgot that I'm here.
No, I won't be there.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean? What do you want?
Oh, I was talking and because you haven't got your you didn't say anything.
Oh, I didn't hear you speak.
Yeah.
I got my headphones next to me.
Unless I didn't push the talk.
It's
I don't know, probably.
It's probably that, mate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I have to have words with one of your viewers. I don't know what one it was though now.
Why? What did they do?
They said that I sounded like someone, and now I've just been watching all
John
of their
Richardson.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredibly OCD, that man.
Yeah.
It's very funny though.
I'm now got like a 10-hour playlist. I'm just going to be watching.
Good job. You need to watch Overlord, mate, and some of those other animes that come out.
Oh, is Overlord got more episodes than the first one now then?
It's on to episode 6, I think.
Ah, cool.
The first plot loop is complete.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying Deathmatch.
Oh, Deathmatch is good. It's one of those trashy animes, but it's
just one that you can just relax and watch.
I told you it went extreme lolly.
Yep. Hence why I love it.
Wow.
I'm just about to start watching Black Clover as well.
Black Clover's good. I just watched the latest episode yesterday. It's slightly Naruto-esque, but I think it's probably made by the same people actually thinking about it. It's very similar animation, kind of, I don't know how to describe it, pacing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, JD's does not like Black Clover.
Apparently not, I've just seen.
Now, me and Zen watch a lot of trash animes and quite enjoy them for being trash animes.
I literally just something to get me out of.
Right. We need to. Why is no one? God, these people are the worst. Well, fuck it. I just see who my auto hosts, mate. I can do that. Right. Thanks very much, guys. Love your faces. I'll be back in a bit with thingamajigmabobs anyway, you know, the stuff. Love
See you.